Good afternoon and welcome to North Hobart Oval for a big NPL Tasmania double-header here on Anzac Day. First up, it's Glenorchy Knights taking on the Olympia Warriors. Following that, we've got the Hobart Zebras duelling with South Hobart. We've got 2nd to 5th on the table, all facing off today. This should be a cracking day of football on this most solemn of occasions. And we're not too far away from jumping into it. We'll have the Anzac ceremony coming up shortly. Here to call the action with me this afternoon is Paul Hunt. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Andrew Cooling. It's great to be here as always. Great to have my voice immediately cut off by the giant PA system here at North Hobart Oval as we look at the teams preparing to come out onto the field. Great to be back at this storied sporting venue of Hobart. I've seen plenty of interesting fixtures throughout the years, and today will be none different on this Anzac Day. We've used to having some big Anzac Day clashes here in the NPL Tas. Been going on the last few years, particularly involving Olympia, as we'll get the ceremony underway fairly shortly as the team's nearly ready to come out.
So that will be getting underway very shortly, the last post and all the works, and after that we'll have what should be a very entertaining game of football indeed. Looks like we're just about ready for the formalities to begin, so I'll just hand over to, I guess, the effects mic and let you take it in.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. And in the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. event. The club presidents of our 4 participating clubs will now lay wreaths in the centre of our pitch today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your participation in our ceremony. That concludes the official part of the Anzac service. The game today between Glenorchy Knights and Olympia will be playing for the RSL Anzac Cup, which has been kindly donated by RSL Tasmania. Thank you very much for your participation.
Alright, so the formalities concluding there. Vicky Morton, Tony Bassich, Di Giovanni, George Marcus and Bob Gordon arraying Leafs out in the pitch. And there is the Glenorchy Knights lineup for this clash. Not too many surprises there. I think one change from the other night, is it?
At least one, because Teddy Kadisha's in the starting lineup there, number 14.
That's the only one that jumps to mind, but pretty good team there. Declan Brown's been their real talisman in attack. Cullen Griffin will probably partner Gutierrez Chavez, who made his debut the other night, rocketed one into the post. Imagine they play together in midfield. Tyler Harrison at the back. Lachlan Hart in goals. Rowan Heggie, bit of utility, probably expect him out wide. Samuel James in the middle of the park. Kadisha, as you mentioned, will likely play at centre-back there. Jake Stewart in there leading the line. I'd like to see him in the starting lineup. Brings plenty of energy. He's got a lot of pace, and on a big pitch like this, I think he could really thrive. Matthias Toghill coming back into some nice form. The fullback on the bench, Aaron Amani, Matthew Nowicki, Luke Warrener, George Hallard and Trent LaRossignol. And that is the Knights side for today. Moving on to the Warriors, Paul.
Indeed, as we look at that Warriors lineup, there's a couple of changes there. Both teams rotating their sides during this busy period. We've got Lucas the Mountain Hill up the top there. Bay Kurtz has come back in after an injury layoff. Jono Ladich as well, the former Knights player. Jacob Lehman, who seems to be occupying, really cement one of those fullback roles, although with Kurtz in the lineup, it'll be interesting to see where he shifts to. There's McDonald, Nick Mearns in the centre of the park. King of the Andals, Joffrey Nkoso, Jack Ryan, you imagine will be leading the line. Paul Stevens, young Jake Thompson and Jake Vandermeer rounding out the first 11 on the bench. You got Allen, good to see the return of Ryan, the chef cook as well onto the bench. Jonathan Malungalu and Darby Randall and the postman Warren Wadawu.
Yeah, good looking lineup. Just been informed by a very reliable informant that Bay Kurtz will be playing in at midfield today. So perhaps taking Jordan Scott's role in there, out suspended for this one, of course. But he'll be back for the South Hobart and Devonport games, so perhaps well-timed the suspension, some might suggest, in that regard. But Knights are certainly going to be a tough opponent for the Warriors on this big pitch at North Hobart, and they'd love to have him out there. We'll see how they overcome that. Kurtz will have to do a big job in the middle of the park. What are you expecting from this one today, Paul? We've seen the Warriors 2 from 2 so far against the Knights, but haven't had it all their way in those games.
They've been tight contests, the previous encounters, but I do think the pitch here at North Hobart Oval will make a difference. We saw on that chilly Friday night. They were looking to play the diagonal ball a fair bit, were the Warriors, and now they've got a bit more space for the likes of Thompson and Nkoso to run into. I imagine they'll be going that angle more, and then Nick Mearns pushing on from centre mid. You can tell he's a bit more confident and got his fitness back as we get underway here at North Hobart Oval. Olympia kicking off in their alternate black and gold kit, which, might I say, one of the best kits I've seen in the NPL.
Yeah, shades of the Vegas Golden Knights about it. I don't mind that for new kit designs. Of course, the Knights rocking their special Anzac Day kits specifically made for the occasion too, so good work from the kit creators out there. Tog Hill will take a touch, pressured by Nkoso. Brown surrounded by Warriors there, into the middle. There you go, Thompson really nailing down a spot in this starting lineup over the last month. McDonald, you wouldn't have the fondest memories of this ground. That late equaliser, of course, against the Hobart Zebras. Plenty of controversy about that one last time they were out here. Lucas Hill's only just returned, of course. That was the real flashpoint of drama in their last outing at North Hobart, and one suspects there'll be a bit of drama here today as well on this big occasion.
We can only hope so. That was a very interesting contest towards the end there when the Warriors were last here, but on the far side through Thompson, going to Ryan, holding the ball up against Kadisha. Teddy Kadisha making, I think, his first start of the season. Was a strong force in their back line last year. His throw-in will be taken by Vandermeer, who's going to confuse me no end by changing numbers for the first time in about 2 years this afternoon, rocking the number 4.
That is new.
Yeah. There is the new number 4 Vandermeer. Coming in to the feet of Ryan, holding it up well, lays it back. And Koso is over at the back post, and they look to go in that direction. Hart comfortably underneath that one for his first involvement in this match. Rolling it out, Stewart's clattered into one of the king of the Andals in Koso. I think it's one of the more obvious fouls you'll see here this afternoon.
Harrison short for Callan Griffin. Don't expect him to stray too far from his defensive four. He'll be tasked with shielding them today, you'd have thought. Tries to switch things up here. Just left it standing up a bit too long, though. Allowed in Thompson. He'll wait for a little bit of support to arrive in the form of the Englishman, Jack Ryan. Back he goes to Vandermeer. The Mountain Hill. Jacob Lehman takes a touch backwards. You see the likes of Naden, Stewart, Brown really trying to press up here. There's plenty of mobility in that front line of the Knights. Should have a bit of room to operate in today. Tog Hill has done very well there to win the throw for his side. Just working that one out. Koso asking the question, but it was wily stuff from the man sporting that wonderful beard. Flicked on by Naden. Paul Stevens has had a fantastic year at the back for the Warriors, under control there. Now Lucas Hill's just going to drive this one along for Ryan and Harrison to contest. Harrison won the header down to Samuel James. Nick Naden couldn't get there. Here's Nick Mearns, who's starting to rediscover his best. Such a key mover for this side. Kurtz. Oh, just under hit that one a little, but it'll be all right for Stevens. A retreat from McDonald. And Stevens again. Kurtz out wide to Lehman. Now Nick Mearns. Mearns threading it through. It's a wonderful ball for Joffrey Nkoso. He's got two at the back post. He couldn't find Ryan. It was shut down by Kadisha as it opened up at the back there, and the first real chance of the game falling the way of the Warriors, but Nkoso just unable to pick out Ryan in the middle.
Good tracking there from Kadisha coming over from his centre-back position. It's interesting to see. It seems like both teams have learnt a fair bit from their games against each other on Friday night. Ryan, he saw him work Hardwick a fair bit in that second half. He's plonked himself right on Kadisha as the first corner swung in over the back. Calls for handball, not heeded, and Koso tries to lay it back out to Mearns, but under-hits it. Griffin whacks that down the line. Kurtz knocks it out for a throw-in. And Samuel James is also, we've seen him in midfield this year, back out to left back as well. The Knights ravaged by injuries so far. Probably 5 to 6 first teamers out. There's Solkill down the line to Stewart. Looks for Brown up against Thompson. Brown now trying to run at the defence. Thompson does well and he'll wax that one clear. It's Teddy Kadisha. Out to James. Gets past Ladich. He's got options inside in Gutierrez, but goes to Naden. Hill manages to win that one back. Now it's John O'Ladich. Good ball from Hill to Mearns, just opening up the play a bit more and really looking to use the width here as Lehman gets his head up and searches for Ryan, uses his strength well. Now wants to play in Nkoso. Does so, but again Kadisha deflected. Nkoso to the back post and cleared again. Gutierrez Chavez now plays it out to Stewart. Good tempo to start this one in the opening 6 minutes. As Chavez knocks that one behind DJ Heggie on the far side.
The Knights looking to spring something themselves. Searching ball for Jake Stewart. Beaten in the air by Lehman. Might fall for Stewart. Not so. Stevens out to Nkoso, who really came on strong in the last North Hobart game the Warriors had. Just running at tired legs late in that game. Really enjoyed the extra room in behind. We've already seen him flash today. Just quite the end product as of yet from the King of the Andals. And here's Callan Griffin. Beautiful day for football here at North Hobart. The sun is shining and a very good couple of matches in prospect this afternoon. South Hobart, Hobart Zebras to follow this one. Massive day as the free kick will be brought back. A little clip on Lehman. In front of Alistair Cook on the line there. Charlie White, man in the middle today. Paul Stevens punches this one down the line. Ryan gives chase, but led to the ball by Harrison. Just a little bit sloppy there from Tyler Harrison. Just seemingly ran straight out of play. Giving Koso the throw in. Slightly heavy touch. Really characteristic of the Knights centre half. Important player for the team. Here's Nkoso. And he wins the corner off Jake Stewart. It's not.
I thought that went out for a corner as well. I thought that managed to stay in as Lehman leaves that one into the centre. Toghill clears. Brown wants to find Griffin and does. Cal Griffin launches it to Naden. I think that's come off Paul Stevens last, and that's the way the referee saw it as well. Toghill goes back to Harrison. Griffin in the centre. Switch is on here if he wants to do it, and does so. James wanting a willing runner in front of him. Can't find it, so he goes back to Kadisha. And goes all the way back to the keeper. Lockie Hart. Kadisha. A crowded midfield. Hayden and Heggie in particular not able to find an opening, but here they found one by a deflection. Heggie out to James. James squares up Vandermeer, whips the ball to the back post. Hill flicks it on in there, and Stewart couldn't get enough power on that header. It wasn't the greatest clearance of Lucas Hill's career, and McDonald grateful to claim that one.
Yeah, Paul from the mountain there, just getting it back into a dangerous area, invited the chance for Jake Stewart. Here's McDonald. Lucas Hill this time going direct, looking for Jack Ryan. Kadisha trying to work his way to the front spot, and now it's whipped over the top for Joffrey Nkoso. One-on-one with Matthias Toghill, and Nkoso is going to take him on, weaving one way, then the other, putting the cross in. And Gutierrez Chavez just tracking back inside, clearing the areas. We look at Koso's mazy little run here. Toghill dangerously leaving that leg dangling. Well, a few players probably would have gone down in that situation for the penalty, but Koso keeping his feet. Here's Nick Mearns. Jacob Lehman. Back to Mearns. Paul Stevens. Back to Lucas Hill. Ladich. And Jake Vandermeer. The Warriors Patient with the build-up, and now this one will just stand up in the wind and give Lachlan Hart every chance to collect. He does so over Joffrey and Costa. There's a bit of a breeze out there today. See the ball just hanging in there, and some of those long balls have been hit.
Yeah, we have to look to pretty much the entrance of the ground for our big advertising sales that we're using here in the opening round of the season, and they are blowing a gale at the moment. It's really off and on in terms of the wind, and at the moment it's clearly picked up as we see that one just getting enough distance on it. Good touch from James, finds Heggie. AJ Heggie tries the early ball. Hill again loops over his head, and Stevens, well, he shanks it off the shin pad. Head up towards Stewart, who can't keep it under control. And now Lehman put his foot on it. I think he's got Nkoso up ahead, but he's got a wall of white shirts. Can he beat Toghill for pace? He does. Tries to do the same trick on Harrison, who reads him like a book. Naden to Brown. Brown, I think, was aiming for Heggie in that, but hit it way too centrally. And the Warriors look to build from Hill, who goes the long raking diagonal bowl. It's a good one to Nkoso. Back to Mearns. Jack Ryan calling for it. And the D and gets it. Tries to lay in Nkoso. Nkoso's offside. And just pulled off the blind side of the defender, but it's straight offside. And I think even from that angle we can tell it was probably off.
Working his way back on. Didn't quite manage to get there, and seems to be a good plan from the Warriors to try and isolate Nkoso up against Toghill early on. Try and test out the newcomer as going to the ground there, appealing for a boot to the face. There's the Knights player on the far side, Jake Vandermeer. Let's see what the referee dishes out. Just a talking to by the looks of it. Oh, a boot there on him.
Very high.
And Heggie, the one who's been caught, and he's asking why nothing's been dished out, so they got away with one there, Olympia.
Pointing at the jugular very strongly there is DJ Heggie.
Reckless from Jake Vandermeer. As we saw that recently. KG5, a high boot early on leading to a penalty. That's Kadisha. Next this one back to Hart. One pushing up into this 20-minute little patch there in the middle of the ground. Pulls the trigger and drives it long. A good ball too, but James's touch was just heavy. And just off the knee, it rolls out. No one getting away from him, but really nice ball over the top.
Yeah, both sides are looking to use the extra room. Really play in either the fullbacks or the wingers, as we see Heggie coming off, we assume, with the blood rule. And if Vandermeer has actually caught him and drawn some blood, I'm shocked that's not a yellow card, and I think that's what he's saying to fourth official. Monty Peace down on the sideline there? No.
Looks a bit like it.
It does.
From behind anyway. It's the Warriors.
35 metres away.
Yeah, certainly a distant view up here in the North Hobart commentary box. It's good for analysing formations, but great for spying individual players, it must be said.
The state of their jaw as Griffin goes up against Mearns. They're both doing a lot of twists and turns, but they'll end up in Warriors' hands. Mountain with the bright green boots that you could probably spot from a lot further away than we are. Kurtz to Paul Stevens. I think he wanted a little more air under that pass, it's fair to say, from Paul Stevens. He falls straight to Harrison. Now Griffin. Now Griffin with all the time in the world. The Olympia Warriors being very compact, particularly in their midfield setup. Very much dropping deep into a 4-5-1. As they now try and beat it aerially. And Koso battling against Stewart. Lehman pounces out to Griffin. Toghill. Griffin, Mearns gets a toe in. Could play in Ladich. Instead, go the ball over the top. And Ganesha knew exactly what he was doing there on Ryan and wins the free kick. As Heggie comes back onto the field.
Yeah. It's a bit of a habit of giving away those type of fouls. Jack Ryan doesn't mind the physical battle, always looking to engage, and the defenders are acutely aware he's got a bit of that reputation, and they're going to try and draw free kicks out of it. Back the other way as well, as Declan Brown just blocks off Nick Mearns. Play allowed to continue. Naden all the way back to his keeper. Tyler Harrison. Looking it to Kadisha. Kellen Griffin in the bullseye, lays it back off to his captain. Striding forward, Tyler Harrison. It's summed up some of the passing today, unfortunately. It's just straight out from Harrison. Both teams just lacking a bit of sharpness. Warriors have looked a more dangerous team, but the curse of Griffith seems to be living on as far as I'm concerned, Paul.
Yeah, look, after 15 minutes, there's been 2 half chances for both sides. That's about it, as we see that throw in might put McDonald under some pressure, but he does well to elude Naden. Stevens, which doesn't elect to go to Lehman, instead goes to Nkoso. Now Lehman gets it. Lays it out for his striker Ryan, who touches it off to Nkoso, who couldn't quite keep it in. Toghill thought about going quickly, but he's had plenty of players back. And there's a good crowd steadily rolling in here to North Hobart Oval. And people on the benches in front of us enjoying the same view we have. A few over in the George Miller stand as well, where the Warriors came out of, and they've got their change rooms located. There's Hart. Then out with Harrison. Now Gutierrez Chavez, who we've not seen a lot of in the first 16 minutes. Kadisha. And Knights really having a terribly huge idea of how to replay it out here at the moment. They're content just to play it between themselves at the back.
Yeah, fairly aimless. I mean, a couple of times they've threatened to have just been from this sort of thing, just pulling the trigger long and getting a winger in behind, but a very ordinary start from the Knights. I know they're capable of better football than this, but just looking a little out of ideas, despite the fact we're 15 minutes into this one. Getting the ball looking up, seeing plenty of black shirts and not finding a way through them just at the moment. Olympia exactly setting the world on fire themselves, but a reasonable start the first few minutes. Koso's looked lively when they've got him running at the defence. That team's just looking to settle into the occasion a little bit. Obviously a big day, slightly different with the last post and ceremony pre-game. Maybe we're just making excuses for players there. But
frozen on the spot out there during the slightly longer introduction to today's game potentially, but judging by the frustration James Sherman is showing in that technical area, I think he's thinking along the same lines as us up here, as the Warriors have won a free kick and will send their tall timber forward, or at least some of it. Stevens and Hill in discussions as to who's going to head up. Lucas Hill is going to try and get some speed up, but it goes over his head. Hard, it's going to hold up in the wind, and that is exceptionally comfortable for the keeper there. A comfortable chest mark 30 yards out from goal. There's Harrison. Knocks it to Kadisha. Samuel James, who's been really impressive in the start of this season. He'd be one of the Knights' better players in my opinion so far, especially in that centre midfield role, and now playing out as a wing back, showing good versatility. There's Gutierrez Chavez. I think that's a loose back pass there. Gets Harrison a task. Calls for handball from Ryan, not given. To my knowledge, Gutierrez Chavez still, I think, the only player in NPL Tas with a Wikipedia page at the moment.
Out of the current lot, obviously there's a few in the past who've had them, some more famous than others involved in our league, but
some still up online rather than others.
Yes, he's managed to keep his up. I think Gordy Gerson definitely had one. So a few players rocking the wiki profiles these days. Here's Ladic in Koso. Well, if he keeps going his current trajectory, maybe one day he'll join that legion. Back to Paul Stevens. Skips around Naden, inside to Kurtz, and knocked it back to Hill. Again, it's just backwards here from the Warriors. Put McDonald under the pump a little, he closing him down. Manufactured it out to Ladic, dropped it back to Kurtz. And the two will just knock it between each other in the middle before Lucas Hill launches that diagonal again. And can Koso get in behind a Toghill? The wind's just taking it back too centrally there. You can see what they're trying to do though. They're loving the one-on-one of Koso and Toghill, but outside of that, there's been very little happening in this game through 20 minutes, Paul Hunt.
It really hasn't. It was very reminiscent of Fitzgerald v Smithy Sharples from the Devonport Kingborough Lacquer Seljuk Cup game on Friday. That plan of isolating the left winger on the right back. As Gutierrez, Brown sets that one. Kurtz now goes around Brown. Lays it in to Mearns. And Koso wants the chip ball over the top and gets it. Stays on side as Joffrey and Koso tries to beat Toghill and does. Lays it back, and it's eventually a shot on from Thompson, but you're running into the 6-yard box. Joffrey and Koso just hit it.
Well, he beats Toghill here and then just couldn't get round Harrison. I think he would have hit it there. Harrison across in coverage. There were plenty of Knights back in defence there to save the day, but on the brighter moments is Olympia again with their prodigiously talented young winger looking a threat. And they're switching diagonals to him. They've got themselves a corner. Can Nick Mearns produce here? Bends it in. It's shallow and away by Gutierrez Chavez. Jake Stewart leads to the ball. Oh, well done. Back in there was Mearns. Just rolled out of play though.
I'll tell you what this game needs. It needs a tactical Matthew Nowicki yellow card. I know he's on the subs bench, but he can still get one from there. Maybe just a random encroachment, a false substitution. I mean, it really fires the team up. And I think that's what this game needs at the moment.
Anyone's capable of getting a card from the bench. It's Nowicki. But, look, just need something just to wake the Knights up a little at the moment. Just for the time being, looking a little bit flat, but I'm sure we'll see Nowicki at some stage today. I understand why they've opted for the likes of Stewart in attack. Nowicki just coming back from injury and extra pace on the bigger pitch. As Kurtz chips this one over the top. Ladich on a bursting run forward, and Hart got there just before his former teammate and dropped it off for Tyler Harrison. Toghill, loose touch, and then Lehman punched it straight back to Harrison in the middle for the dual citizen Gutierrez Chavez, America and Mexico, out to Samuel James. James weaving, trying to buy some room. That's a good looking cross away from Paul Stevens. Stewart first to the fall, turning back onto the right, couldn't get around Mearns there tracking back. Wins it again, keeps it in play. Wins the throw off Toghill, so some nice work there from Nicholas Mearns.
Doing well tracking back. Was Mearnsy there? Stevens, the crucial header as well. I saw how prolific Naden is in the air at KG5 the other week as Brown goes to Griffin, who now lays it into Naden. Good touch, wants to play the through ball to Griffin, but evaded by the Warriors' defence. It's now Samuel James. A whole lot of options, but it's a good ball into Naden with a lovely flick over Stevens. Naden still going. Nick Naden gets the shot away. And Baker sees it out for a corner. The first real moment of real quality there from the Knights, from Nick Naden. They win their first corner of the match. As we have a look. A lovely turn over the top of Stevens. First time we've seen the Knights charge into the box with some intensity. So it's going to be DJ Heggie to take the corner kick. 6 awaiting at the back for the Knights. Heggie goes in that direction. James gets that nowhere near the goal, and as we know with free kicks, the longer the build-up, usually the worse of the set piece, and it was the same there again.
Not much doing from that one. Kyle McDonald just drops this one short for Lucas Hill. Here's Kurtz in that midfield role today. Versatile player. Nick Mearns. Mearns sliding it through for Ryan. Kadisha across. It's Jack Ryan played the cross first time, and Kadisha getting a foot in. Takes it back to Lachlan Hart. Or is it behind Toghill? Tyler Harrison. Now forward with it is Kadisha. A lot of this today from the Knights. Look up, nothing on, roll it back, reset, go again.
And just see Hill dropping that 4 to 5 metres off to try and prevent balls like this, but that one holds up in the wind. And Stewart can't knock it on to a teammate. Toghill flicks it back into the centre of the park. Brown pressuring Mearns, who charged down from Stewart. Stevens trying to get this one under. Lovely little dink over Stewart. Lehman. Brown, does he keep it in? No, he doesn't. Lehman showing some urgency to take it quickly. And he really has Inkoso to aim for. That's where he goes. Flicks it on to Ryan. Goes the lovely back heel from the striker, Inkoso. Running against Toghill. Tries to play the inside return ball. Griffin against Mearns. Toghill slipped as he went to clear it. Referees judge that took a deflection off the Warriors.
Lovely little back heel from Jack Ryan there to Spring and Koso. We've seen a few goals this season with those two combining in a similar fashion there. Some reasonable chemistry between the pair as Naden works this one to Gutierrez Chavez. Great challenge from Kurtz. Tyler Harrison thrusts it forward straight to the mountain. Hill will chip it out for Lehman. Stretch to keep it in. Griffin comes in full-blooded, wins it away from him. Now Jake Stewart tries to get around Paul Stevens and was still been blocked off in doing so. Naden trying to get Lucas Hill booked, but he might need to move it back a little bit before pulling that move. Don't mind the cheek though from Naden. Never a bad idea to try and get the man marking a slice of cheese early on. Gutierrez Chavez. So he'll step up. I think his left foot also an option. We saw Diego absolutely rocket a free kick against the Warriors the other night into the crossbar. His debut, this time he'll stand it up looking for Nick Naden. Headed wide, he was unmarked in the middle of the box, and that's as good a chance as there's been. Nick Naden, no question the marking there, just sitting off him. Well, Vandermeer's just gone for the ball and misjudged it, I think, and that allowed the chance. And maybe he should have done better there.
Yeah, no one really around him, did Naden. Didn't the entire time, to be fair, and it's maybe he thought Vandermeer was going to clear that one, and it just fell off his shoulder in the end. Scored that wonderful headed goal the other weekend, did Naden. His high standards, you would expect that one to go on target. As McDonald lays it out to Stevens. Tries to go around Stewart and does so. No advantage paid from Charlie White. Stevens try to take it quickly. All blocked off there from Brown. Lays it back to Stewart. Stewart running at Kurtz. Now finds Naden. Good one too. Jake Stewart, can he hit it towards the back post? Kurtz slides in. And it's interesting trying to go down there, but he does win the corner. Does Stewart?
Great sliding block from Kurtz initially there. Getting back, it was a ominous looking moment. Just thought Stewart might have been better off playing it back across the face first time for Naden. He'll take a man on instead. Kurtz up to the task, but the Knights have just started to grow into this one in the last 10 minutes. They've had their best few moments. Starting to ask a few questions here. Another set-piece opportunity for DJ Heggie. He bends this one. Headed away by Paul Stevens. James motoring out after it, ahead of Jack Ryan. Brown to Harrison. Back to James. Lofting it forward, looking for Stewart. Run it down, but straight to the feet of Kurtz. And his back pass should be swept up by McDonald. Sweetest contact there from McDonald. Punting it straight out of play. He ticked towards 30 minutes gone at North Hobart.
James will stride forward for the throw. Vandermeer rises high. Didn't quite win the second ball, but Kurtz knocks that one out. Some good teamwork between the match manager and the ball kid on the far side. Samuel James directs traffic. Tries to find Chavez, Naden. Cleared by Hill, Griffin. There's a willing runner in Toghill. He's got space, but it's just under hit. He gets it eventually. Puts in a good bowl. Hill probably didn't need to go at that and could have got a bigger shout. We'll roll out for a goal kick, which McDonald will take. Goes to Hill. Two players who've applied their trade in Europe previously. As McDonald looks up and it's probably sick of seeing the ball down that end, so he plays a nice diagonal. Van der May tries to find Thompson, well intercepted from Heggie, and he was fouled by the young Warriors winger. Good to see Van der May pushing on. Not his strongest suit is that from Van der May. He still prefers a centre-back position.
I was a little surprised with the starting lineup today, seeing him at full-back. Perhaps you'd see Kirks and Lehman on the bigger pitch here at Warrior Park in the full-back position. Good for Van der May with that change in number as Nick Naden looking to get him behind. Across comes Lucas Hill to deal with the threat. And try and motor this one down. Does a good job taking out the corner flag in the process of that. And crucially getting the ball out as well, so just the throw in. See all those long levers scrolling forwards there.
Haven't seen a corner flag that scared since Timmy Cahill's playing days, and Lucas Hill coming sliding at it. Some real danger.
Kellen Griffin's going to launch this one. Searching ball comes down for Stewart, manufactures a volley. That was blocked. And then Nick Mearns clears the danger away. Tyler Harrison shipping it back. Nick Mearns attacking it. Comes out the back. Kellen Griffin didn't quite find a teammate, but it had gone out anyway. So doesn't matter. Toghill has to give it a heave. Down the line. Ordered centrally by Stewart, straight to Lucas Hill, who just puts his foot through it straight to Teddy Kadisha. Can take back over. The Knights starting to win the territory game a little bit here. This game being played up this end of the pitch just for now. Here's Rowan Heggie. Out wide for Samuel James. James back for Kadisha. Cross for Griffin. Griffin shipping one in. Really poor ball, didn't really give Heggie a play on it. And Van der May just going to see that one out for a goal kick. Heggie trying his best to sell it, but no one's buying that, my friend.
It was worth a try from Heggie, particularly on that far side. I think even from up here we could tell that was going to be a goal kick. As McDonald gets some good distance on that one. Ryan underneath it. Wants the free kick, probably deserved. A bit too exuberant in the back there was Kadisha. Yeah, he certainly did get pushed underneath that one a fair bit, did Ryan. And this time we'll see Hill to take the free kick. What can the Mountain deliver? Goes a low ball. James sticks a leg out. Brown, most convincing of clearances. Mearns up against Griffin. Mearns still scrapping away with it. Cal Griffin's not going to let that one go easily enough, and eventually comes out the winner with some help from his teammates. Brown wants to play it early to Naden. Stevens just gets ahead on it, and Kurt's tracking back. Should be able to see this one out. 1-2 with Ladich. Risky ball there from Stevens. Hill couldn't quite keep it under. Brown. 4 Knights players up here. Naden with the shot. And he scuffed that one pretty wildly. It was a good opportunity there for the Knights with the 4v4. But not quite making the most of it. But just this last 10 minutes, the Knights starting to push forward with a bit more intensity. Olympia haven't been playing those diagonals towards Nkoso as much.
Well, they've just been playing it straight to Knights players. It's not been particularly pretty, some of their passing out from the back, both these teams so far today. Now they'll go long. Lucas Hill, the other one wood and launching it. They are kicking into a fair win too, I think, which is probably impacting things, but they control this one early. Now they just can't seem to keep a hold of the ball. The Warriors. 35 minutes gone. I suspect both coaches will be fairly keen for these next 10 minutes to tick by and to get them in the sheds and change a few things up. Because both are capable of much better football than what we've seen so far today. You blame the recovery time. Last Friday when they met now, so it's been a decent layoff between the clashes. Here's Stevens. Again, the diagonal looking for Nkoso. And Toghill, as he put this one out of play, he's left it in there. Gives Nkoso a play on, and he'll look up and he's got 4 to pick out Nkoso. Searches for Ryan, out the back for Thompson, who's marauded forward. Waits for some support, or got it to Kurtz, but he was under pressure and his pass couldn't find Vandermeer.
Kurtz just did well to get some toe on that, as there were Knights players pouncing everywhere. If Declan Brown got there a nanosecond earlier, the Knights could have been on for the counter there. As James will take the throw in on a very windy far side of the ground. Heggie just to find Naden, who's just to find Brown. Stewart's making the run in between the centre halves. Brown will elect to go back. It's James. Go back to Kadisha. Gutierrez Chavez to Harrison. Thought about the long ball down the line. Instead, we'll drop it in short. There's a handful American-Mexican who plays a raking ball. Lehman calls for handball. And he did just about punch that one out of the air, did Lehman. Griffin's thought about keeping the free kick for himself, but others will come across to take. Only Heggie, and now Gutierrez Chavez wants to have a look. Might just favour the left footer slightly here, I think.
Yeah, I think Gutierrez Chavez has suggested it'll be his. Certainly looks keen, DJ Heggie.
If he makes a run down the sideline there, he'd draw the wall out.
He chips it into the back post, away by Stevenson, cleared decisively. Naden! Big chance, goes begging, deflects wide of the post. Sloppy at the back. This Stevens just heads it right back into a dangerous area. Redeems himself somewhat with the shot block. But just inviting all manner of danger here, the Warriors at the back this afternoon. It's a good chance for Nick Naden. Good shot block from Paul Stevens. He redeemed the mistake against the Knights, who are looking the most likely team just right now. Can they convert? It's Ryan Heggie again from the corner. Bending this one to the back post, away by Stevens. Jack Ryan clears it away. Toghill gives chase. And lobs it straight out of play.
Not sure what the defenders would be thinking of in-swinging corner into the 6-yard box. Keeper stays on the line. It's something that used to drive me slightly nuts as a defender when they wouldn't come out for those ones.
You've got to be going after those, don't you? So a couple of times today where he hasn't come to collect, shown that authority in the air from the corners. Yeah, a couple of times I've seen Warriors defenders trying to clear the area and just heading it straight back into the danger area.
And Stevens did well to recover that early mistake, but it was nearly costly for his side. Just headed it right in the path of the opposing player in the 18-yard box. And falls to James. Heggie. Players really just keeping it on the far side, so we don't quite see what's going on. Stevens sizes up his options. Doesn't really have a whole lot to aim for. Griffin's doing a pretty tight job on Mearns, and in the end that one's going to roll down. Hart. Too much curl on that one, falls to the feet of Nkoso. Tracking back well is Stewart. I'm going to accuse him. He's one of what's in a lot of hard work is Jakey Stewart. There's Lehman strides forward to take. Into the chest of Ryan. Backing in. Mearns. Gets the touch, but it falls harmlessly towards the keeper, Lockie Hart, who hasn't really had a whole lot to do in this first half. That one and 2 moments of Nkoso bearing down, but besides that, has been pretty quiet. As Heggie plays it back to Kadisha. Kadisha tries to play the searching ball in the Brown direction. Everyone losing it. The keeper's come out this time. Cleared by Hill. Knights really have a goal just before half time. They've certainly had the lion's share of possession and territory later in this second half. They won't win the throw-in on this occasion though. Not that Gutierrez Chavez necessarily agrees with that decision. Mate, he's got the wind and position against him here down in the far corner. Thompson battling away with Heggie. It's just kept it in, but turned it over to Naden. Heggie plays it first time. Stevens controls it well. Ryan battling with Kadisha. Gutierrez Chavez gets his body in the way. They want a foul. That's got to be a foul there on someone, but play on from Charlie White. Well, surely at least one trip off the ball there.
I thought Ryan probably deserved the free kick.
Yeah.
Sent tumbling, but play allowed to continue, and the Warriors pick the ball up. They've a few minutes here to try and find something. No shots on target in the first half. You mentioned Hart's been quiet. A couple of threatening moments from Koso in the box, but yeah, to really test Lachlan Hart, needs to do better than that if they're going to. Just up there, Harrison easily collects, drops back off for Tog Hill. And Tyler Harrison.
What point do we send Jono Griffiths for a run down to the shops? This is just a second half break.
Those playing at home, our blogger yet to see what we describe as an entertaining game this year, and any match has been assigned. It's whichever one Jono gets has been the dullest game of the round thus far. And holding true to form today, 42 minutes. Although I think if these two are still nil or even late on, that the tension will make it an entertaining afternoon. Big 3 points on offer today. Some chance here as Ladich sends it over the top in the Ryan direction. Teddy Kadisha nods it away from him, then takes a touch away from Thompson. Olympia with a rare attacking incursion here and a chance to throw some bodies forward. They've been few and far between their attacks. Remember the last meaningful threat they've had hasn't been anything the last 20 minutes or so. They ask a question here before the break. Jack Ryan the target, but it won't quite reach him. Ladich rolls it across for Thompson. Thompson, poor cross. He had 3 in the middle. And he's just put it straight over the goals, and that really describes this first half, Paul Hunt.
Yeah, I think everyone in the media box had a simultaneous groan then at the same time. As Thompson miscued that cross. It has been a half of miscues all around, really. As Kadisha, who's probably had the ball the most out of any player on the park. Trying to get out of trouble there is Heggie, and he finds his captain Harrison. Toghill's gone for a run, but that's a good ball in towards Naden, who split the centre-backs. Hill coming across. Naden tries, that's surely a penalty. Dragged down from Hill, not given. Okay then. There's Stevens finds Thompson. Goes to Ladich. Thompson finds Kadisha. Can't wait till the next out till I see that. I don't know if I went too early there, but that looked like a surefire foul by Hill on Naden. Play on given. Chip through ball towards Stewart. Can't avoid the mountain. Brown nods it on. Stevens eventually whacks it clear. Roll out of play eventually. What do you think, Andrew?
Instinct's live with penalty, so definitely have another look at it, but perhaps they've gotten away with one there. Olympia Knights have looked the more threatening team. And as the half has gone on, they've looked more likely to find a goal. Nick Naden more likely than anyone. McDonald sprawling to try and prevent the corner. Unable to do so. Now we might have a look at that penalty shout. Certainly the Knights fans were interested by it. Leading over the top. Leaning back into him. Penalty for mine, but I think he's adjudged there that Naden was the one trying to buy it, but I'm paying that personally.
I've certainly seen them given, especially when you have the legs tangled and the arm over the shoulder. We'll see what Heggie can do from the corner. Goes back stick. Kadisha doesn't get any real purchase on that one. And while we're looking at that replay, the referee had 1 minute of stoppage time. Not really sure where that minute's come from, but might be just Heggie's trotting off for the blood rule.
Yeah, the course of 45, generally you're going to get one. Various stoppages here and there, be they short ones or not. Probably realistically only get about 30 minutes of actual action per half anyway, so if we've been really, every time it went out we started tallying, I reckon we'd be playing hour long halves.
It's more just wanting the coaches to be able to talk to their team, to be honest. Skadisha looks up as Samuel James out wide and goes in that direction. And they must anything in the last 15 seconds. Goes down to Heggie, chests it. Crowded out by Vandermeer. Kurtz. Terribly sure where that was going. It's probably going to be the last action of the half. Well, we'll look to take the throw. And indeed, that is the last action of the first half. Devoid of any real chances. One shot on target. No real major drama to speak of. A penalty shout late in that half. Naden potentially being fouled by the Mountain Hill, but as we go into half-time, it is 0-0, and that is probably a fair reflection of the first half.
Yeah, Knights have probably shaded it for mine. I thought the first 10 minutes were really good from Olympia. There were good signs. They were isolating in Koso, but since then, they've not had much in their locker, and they're under increasing pressure as that half wore on. Certainly, perhaps fortunate not to have conceded a spot kick, although I will say I think the wind has been a bigger factor than perhaps we'll realise until in the second half when both teams have played with it. I think we've seen Olympia's best moments have been those long diagonals over the top. They're going to be a hell of a lot easier to play in the second half than they were in the first, so we'll see if anything changes from a tactical standpoint, but it's definitely going to need to be the case, especially the Warriors 0-0 at the break. Still 3 points there for the taking, but we're going to need to see a little bit more quality in this second half. And we have a look at those chances. Naden came as close as anyone. He had that header, he had the volley blocked by Stevens, he had a penalty shout. He's been involved in everything, Nick Naden. This was probably the best chance from open play. Number third, not a bad effort, but Stevens recovering the error. That's as close as we've come to a goal through 45 here at North Hobart. So we're going to take a bit of a breather. Hopefully things will pick up a tick in the second stanza. We'll be back shortly.
Football Club has their kiosks open today, so for those of you who want refreshments or something to eat, behind the stand at the main entrances, coffee, pies and other sweets. Up on the hill is the wet area for those who would imbibe with an alcoholic drink, and under the dug place to stand there's another food outlet with hot food. Thank you. players and officials out on the ground now. Ask all spectators if they could leave the ground. Thank you.
And we're back for the second half here at North Hobart Oval. The team's locked at 0-0. You mentioned things we hoped would liven up a bit in the second half, and, well, a good sign there. Matthew Nowicki has been introduced at half-time. Looks like he's replaced Rowan Heggie. So things might just start to liven up immediately, Paul.
Yeah, and there is, and it looks like another change as well for the Warriors. Or at least Warren Wadawa is looking more prepped and ready than he was earlier. So, as we predicted, at the 30-odd minute, both sides and both coaches really wanted to get back in the sheds and make some changes, and good to see that they've done so. Wiki on. I don't think it's for Heggie. He's lined up right in front of us.
He snuck up. He was in the huddle a moment ago.
It's Cal Griffin. Yeah, they'll move Gutierrez back to defensive mid. Naden to buzz around the centre of the park as well with Declan Brown. But it'll just be interesting to see two such attacking players coming off from midfield, whether the Warriors can use that space in the middle, as Wadawu is looking like coming on. And by the looks of it, there's Jake Thompson coming off, so the youngster or a more experienced competitor.
Number 10, Callum Griffin coming off, and number 8, Matthew Nowicki going on.
And we'll just let the North Hobart wonderful PA system announce those substitutions to you as well. So it reverberates around the ground.
Number 7, Warren Waterloo going on, and number 15 coming off, Jake Thompson.
Confirm that sub, so the postman coming on, not one you usually see on public holidays, but we'll see what he can do this afternoon and attempt to liven it up as Lehman, under significant pressure, whacks that one down the line, and we are underway in this second half. Brown exchanging passes, but given away to Nkoso, tracking back from Declan Brown, given away Ladich to Mearns. Toghill will never pull out of a challenge, will the Beard in Toghill, and now Nowicki up against Stevens. Gets the right side, does Nowicki, and Stevens manages to get the sliding challenge in. That's still it's on the far side, so good to see some attacking changes from both sides, Andrew.
Yeah, I think both managers are recognising the need for change and trying to get themselves flowing a little bit more in the attacking third this half. It was a pretty good into the half from the Knights. They'll be looking to pick up where they left off. The Warriors need to get back to where they were early on after a good first 15 minutes or so. Struggled from that point on. Here's Gutierrez Chavez from distance. It's an audacious effort. Just floated rather harmlessly wide in the end, shaping to shoot, and it's going to be pretty tough into that breeze in the second half, although the flag's playing around a little bit less, it has to be noted. They were in the first half here. It's Paul Stevens carrying the ball out for the Warriors. It's back to McDonald. Now Bay Kurtz playing that midfield role this afternoon. Chipped up over the head of Ladich. Presenting up was Warren Wadzawu, and then shipped over from Ladich. Harrison should deal with this, and competently enough, nodding back there to Lachlan Hart. Punch low from Kadisha to Heggie. Heggie down the line to Nowicki, looking to hold the ball up and then shoulder up on Bay Kurtz there. Samuel James, the throw in here, early in the second half. 0-0 the score. Olympia, of course, can move back to the top of the table with a victory today, ahead of Devonport's game with Lonnie City. Good layoff there from Nowicki to Naden. Just couldn't get his right foot under it. Went back to Brown. Now Gutierrez Chavez was hoping for a run from Stewart, but reactive rather than proactive, and was never going to get there.
Yeah, it wasn't. Just a little on his heels there, Jake Stewart on the far side. As it's going to be rolled out to Stevens. Manich was offering, instead goes to Ryan. Hands it back to Lehman. That's the return ball. Tolkiel sliding in. It seems like Ryan's moved out to a wing to start with at the moment as well. There's Stevens. Goes back to the keeper. Long ball down the line, which Heggie manages to intercept. Brown, now to Nowicki. Good back heel towards Declan Brown. He's got two in the box. Brown tries to get past the defender. Still going, Brown. Good challenge in the end there from Bay Kurtz. Brown was trying to roll him around, but kept his feet well, and by the looks of it, managed to even knock it off Brown.
Brilliant piece of defending this from Kurtz. Just manages to keep him off balance without fouling and executes perfect sliding challenge. And as you mentioned, even managing to win the goal kick. So playing in midfield today, doing the vital offensive work there for his side. Paul Stevens carrying forward. Kurtz under pressure from Nowicki. He knew what he was trying to do, turned away from the trouble. Wide to Jacob Lehman. Back to Kurtz. Lehman. Back they go to Stevens. Now, errant pass was looking for Mearns, instead straight to Rowan Heggie. Gutierrez Chavez in the midfield. Now Samuel James. Slow build up here from the Knights. Chavez. Stewart the target, floated over his head, and Lehman whacking it away into touch for a throw in. The Knights back on top as they did towards the end of the first half. They're falling into a similar pattern. Tyler Harrison lifting it forward for Naden. Down, turning towards the touchline. Chick back onto his left foot. Does so, delivers it to Toghill. Now Toghill, made Gutierrez Chavez work for it and just allowed in Kurtz. He scraps in and wins it for the Warriors. Nicely done. Yeah, good start to this second half. Here's Kurtz, the American.
Yeah, both sides trying to lift the tempo here to start with. I suppose it's taken approximately 5 minutes for Nowicki to get his first talking to from the referee, despite being nowhere near that incident. Charlie White still wanting to have a chat. Stevens over the dead ball. He goes long down the line towards Nkoso. It's Toghill for company, tries to turn him and does. Joffrey Nkoso, Wadawu and Ryan up ahead, drops the step over in the shoulder, goes the low ball. Good deflection by the Knights' defence. Toghill will see it out. Good turn from Stewart. He's got Nowicki and Naden up ahead. Nowicki's got time to turn. There's a raking ball towards Heggie. Brown pushing on as well. Naden in the centre of the park. And in the end, hits that to absolutely nobody in particular, does DJ Heggie, and a promising move comes to naught for the Knights. Stewart had made a forward run and Nowicki was holding back as both Brown and Naden had bombed on. Nkoso resumes his battle with Toghill that we saw in the first half. We'll see if the wind advantage or lack thereof, or lack thereof disadvantage that they had in the first half. We'll see if they go towards Nkoso a bit more. Lehman, a huge amount of options, but a good flick header from Ryan. Nkoso, he's got two for company, does Joffrey, tries to go around the outside of Harrison, who uses his body really well. Does concede the corner in the end. Another look at that. I don't think he's touched that.
That's a gift for the Warriors. See if they can turn it into anything. They've got the postman Wadawu ready to bend this one in. 7 going up for it. So it's Warren Wadawu goes near post. Not enough on that one. Again, the set piece delivery just hasn't been good enough today. Missing Jordan Scott, I think, the Warriors, his set piece delivery today. Certainly missing his influence in midfield as Nkoso looks to get in behind Soghill again. Oh, skips free. Nice work from Joffrey Nkoso. Can he beat a third? Still going with it, Nkoso. Then lays it back. Chipped in by Ladich to absolutely no one. Jack Ryan was at the near post, not the far post, and Samuel James will just carry it on out of there for the Knights. Couldn't get around Mearns, so just played it off for Nathan instead. Back to James. Now Kadisha. Kadisha to Hart. Jack Ryan and Dawu going to pressure him here. And instead they got the easy out back to Kadisha. She's demanding James come at him, and James is saying, play it forward for me. In the end, it'll fall to Gutierrez Chavez. Down in this part of the pitch at the moment, the Knights. Kadisha, Naden, Mearns with it to spill for Jack Ryan. It's going to be a free kick paid to the Warriors.
Thought that was a foul from Wadawu on Kadisha there.
I don't know how it isn't.
And that was two curious decisions falling the way of the Warriors in the last couple of minutes to capitalise. We'll see what they can do. Wadawu. Good run from Bay Kurtz. Gutierrez Chavez noticing. And they still go in that direction. Wadawu's put it out in front of Kurtz. Goes the low drive towards Mearns, and good deflection from Naden. There's a well-worked set piece there from the Warriors. Mearns in acres of space at the penalty spot. And it's the back of Naden that keeps the Knights in this one.
He's been involved in absolutely everything, both ends here, Nick Naden. He was in the goal. His name has been involved. This time preventing one. Defensive block. Warriors. This chance. Really the game, really there. Duay, Wadawu, can he come on with something a little bit better this time? It's into the back post and off the line. It's cleared away. Somehow stays out. The teasing ball from Wadawu. Clawed back from the line, but they're open back the other way here. Nowicki, is he offside? No, play allowed to continue. Flag stays down. Matthew Nowicki recovering was Kurtz. Game storming back in a breathless minute here. As somehow that ball stayed out at the other end, Paul.
That's much better football, and is what we like to see. He cleared off the line. There was some post in it as well. And then from one end to the other, as we have another look, Wadawu using that win to his advantage. Curls it to the back post. It's actually up straight off the post. Samuel James hasn't got much on anything there at the back post. And then at the other end, Kurtz does just enough to evade Nowicki. As back to live players. James now whips it in. Bicycle attempt. Oh, it's gone in. It's DJ Heggie unmarked in the 6-yard box. Whips out the bicycle, and what a goal to get us underway here.
Oh my, Rowan Heggie. What's a goal. The bicycle from the DJ. Have a bit of that, he says. The Knights take the lead against the Warriors here. And in spectacular fashion, Rowan Heggie gets up, clean bicycle. I've said he resembles Olivier Giroud a little bit. Now he's really taken that to the next level. And well, hasn't this game come to life? It hasn't been the highest quality football game through 55 minutes, but there's a goal of the highest quality.
Look, if you only tuned in at the 52nd minute mark, you'd think this is about the greatest game of the season. As there is the graphics I like to see on the scoreboard and coming through the PA at his peak. International Soccer Superstar 98, I think that is where they've derived that from. I have no idea where that's come from. That came out in the first game here and we missed it. As now Lucas Hill thumps it down the line, goes over the head, and Koso now in it, and Koso! An immediate reply from the Warriors! The long ball down the line, keeper doesn't come out. And again, 30 seconds after the goal, and Koso gets it.
Just long over the top from Hill. Not was judged well by Harrison, just bounces off him and Koso, volleys it home at the near post. This game has come to life in spectacular fashion. It's 1-1. Paul's only just finished talking about the Super Soccer 98 graphic on the scoreboard here, and it's gone up again. And 1-1. And this one has snapped to life. The king of the handles responds to the DJ. 1-1 after 56 minutes, and we've got a cracking game all of a sudden.
Whatever was said or done at half-time has clearly worked from both sides. It's really come to life here at North Hobart Oval. And credit both sides. That's about the longest pause we've had in a couple of minutes. As Gutierrez Chavez knocks that out of play. A breathless 3 minutes here at North Hobart Oval. And whilst the first half was a slightly dour affair, the second half has been much better.
Well, we've had the post struck and then goals at both ends of the ground. It has been frenetic all of a sudden. And the Warriors forward again through Joffrey and Koso. Just lost his balance. He's able to get back on it because they all sat off. Ladic plays him through. And Koso denied by Hart. Just getting a piece of it, the Knights keeper. As this one has exploded here at North Hobart. And that's a great piece of goalkeeping. And Koso not far away from grabbing his second. And it's going from end to end. Glenorchy Knights now looking to push forward through Toghill. Swings this one in behind of Heggie. The scorer, that spectacular bicycle. Vandermeer for Jack Ryan. The English centre forward. Back for Kurtz. Kurtz looks up. Over the top, Vandermeer wasn't really interested in going for it. And rolls through for a goal kick.
Huge save from Lockie Hart there before. We've seen some fantastic goalkeeping in this competition this year, and that's another one to add to the collection, especially after that mistake. Well, not coming out for it a minute earlier, to come back, spread yourself like that, get the big left paw onto it. And it'll do wonders for the keeper's confidence as Mearns now tries to play it to Ryan, cleared from Harrison. Kurtz and Vandermeer will work this one out. Now with Dawu. Delivers down the line in the Mearns direction. He wants a bit more pace on it. Half-hearted appeals from the crowd. There's just enough on it for it to roll out for a goal kick.
Down towards shoulder to shoulder. Hip to hip. As it were. As Jono Griffiths disappeared for 10 minutes at half-time, and I'm just wondering what he's done in that time to remove this curse. And whatever he's did, kudos to the lad, because we've got ourselves a cracking game here all of a sudden. Here's Nick Naden, who was the man involved in the centre of everything in the first half. Laid this one off for Stewart. Back to Naden, but just undersold him a little and allowed Kurtz to slide in. Towards the hour mark. 1-1 here at North Hobart. The second half, 15 minutes, we've seen more action in that 15 than we saw the entirety. First 45. Hopefully that continues, and the team's playing pretty attacking game plan as Stewart storms into the box, sliding challenge, tried to volley one then rather curiously. Might have been better off just leaving that one out for the corner, I think, in the end, Jake Stewart. Slid in there. Not really sure why he's done that one.
He's far better off being let that go for a corner. Maybe just trying to show his teammate he can also do the acrobatics. There's McDonald. Leaves this one long. Ryan over his head, battling with Harrison, gets the second ball. Good touch from Ladic. Dawu calling for it. Goes to Nkoso. Joffrey Nkoso showed good pace and directness in this second half and chips it to Ladic. Kadisha comes across. It's off Ladic, I think, for a throw-in, and it is. So relieves some pressure on the Knights' defence. It does take a pretty significant snick off Ladic. Down the line, Lehman, Kurtz. Ryan's surely coming from an offside position. No, he's not, and Koso is now offside. Both sides playing with a bit more directness here in this second half. And that's certainly leading to more chances at either end.
Rowan Heggie with one of the moments of the season with that bicycle. It didn't last long. Olympia responding as you'd expect a team in their current position in the league to do so. Of course, 3 points today would elevate them back to the top, so they're going to be pushing on for another goal. Both teams look willing to move the ball forwards a bit here in the second half. So knocking around the back in the first. Searching ball here. Flick off of the Knights head, and Koso will get there, and now just to play the ball in, a difficult one, and made it work for him in the end. I think Nick Mearns, he's done very well to win a corner from that. It was the nicest decision to play it in, but another corner, and the last one, well, of course, Lockie Hart, manner of problems. Sitting up in that wind, bouncing off the post. And the postman come up with some good delivery here again. He's got Anime, Ryan, Hill, Stevens. Very strong in the air. Ladich lurking at the top of the box. So Wadawu goes in centrally this time. Hart flapping at it. And is a block being called, or is he just going to give it a little warning? We have a look at the replay here, and in a little bit, but one of those ones where it depends how protective the referee feels of the keeper. Some days they're like a polar bear in terms of protective status, but other days not so much. So Wadzawu, he works back in defence now. Probably a good man to have contesting in the air. Jake Stewart comes to the near touchline for some treatment, and now he's off the pitch. We can get back underway. Bends it again, testing the keeper, and again Hart opting to punch over rather than catch. And I think Olympia are quite content to just swing these in right to the goal line, given what they've seen so far.
Will we see just half hour of this for the rest of the game? Just Wadawu trying to hit it on the keeper's head, and he just has to keep punching them. Jakey Stewart down on the sideline was complaining of an elbow to the face, causing him to come off as the Knights are down to 10.
I'm surprised Nkoso is the one they've chosen to block off the keeper, as it's bent in again, and Naden, well, he's the defensive header, but geez, doesn't seem to be too far away. We'll have another corner as the aerial assault continues. Well, you seem pretty sure of it, Nick Naden. It's a bullet header.
Exuding confidence for something that wasn't too far away from the crossbar.
Maybe the Nkoso theory is if they put Ryan there, he probably will concede a foul just based off reputation, as this one's worked in again. Lucas Hill over his head. Ken Naden winning in the air. He's a powerhouse, that lad. Wadawu puts it over the top. Who's that off last? He hits off a Knight, and it's another corner. What number is that, Gianno? 9th corner for the Warriors. They are searching here, Paul.
They certainly are. Wadawu, Mearns thought about offering short, but when the delivery has been as consistent as it has the last 4 times, you might as well keep going. See what the postman conjures up here. It's that in-swinger again. Hart gets a fist to it, and a foul has been adjudged in the mix-up. And will leave some pressure for the Knights. It's just a sea of bodies in there. And then he's doing very well to try and steal 10 yards from that free kick is Lockie Hart. Taken at the 6-yard box. Thought they'd go long just to get some territory, but they'll like to play it out from the back. Tudisha. A huge amount of options ahead. He'll search for James. Instead, finds nothing but the touchline. Jake Vandermeer will take the throw. Mearns is available down the line. Naden just in the up and under. And the Wiki chasing everything down as he does. Trying to put the centre-backs under pressure, and gets his head in front of Lucas Hill. Now he'll try and win the corner. Does the Berbatov trick on Lucas Hill. Unfortunately, just finds the side netting. Oh, I was absolutely loving that move. Berbatov versus West Ham, about 09, if anyone wanting to YouTube that absolute piece of filth that Dimitar Berbatov pulled out.
I get similar levels of enjoyment from those two, Berbatov and Nowicki, both the entertaining frontman. As Jacob Lehman takes this and swings it forward. Kalisha just giving it a Ryan away from James. Paul Stevens down there, so after that 10-minute burst of real fire wagon end-to-end football, it's now the Warriors dialing up the pressure on the Knights. They had that series of corners to test them. And will the Knights respond? We took our lead 1-0. in their earlier NPL Tasmania game before the Warriors really dominated the second half and came back to win that one, I think, in 3-1. It could have been 2-0 to Knights in that first half. Didn't quite take their chances. But struggled to run out the game, so we'll see how they go on the big pitch here at Warrior Park. KG5 probably more comparable to this venue than certainly Warrior Park from the other night. Toghill with a heavy touch. He knew he had the room to work with in front of him and tried to make use of it. Just a little too loose there from Toghill. Paul Stevens. 3 to play in regulation. Game 1 of this big NPL Tasmania Anzac Day doubleheader. Zebras and South Hobart to follow this. Knights showing no interest pressing them at this part of the pitch. Lucas Hill just chips it up. It's a good ball for Vandermeer. It was the best touch though, straight to Kadisha. Finding hard to win it back as Nkoso. One back from him in turn by Kadisha. Now Nick Naden just waited for it. That let Lucas Hill in, and off to the races goes the mountain. He's skipping past them, Lucas Hill. He'll want to get across in here, and a good sliding block from Samuel James. That's what Lucas Hill can do. The big centre-back when he wants to maraud forwards. He's very comfortable just gliding past defensive players. Spectacular sight in full flight is Lucas Hill. Certainly more than capable on the ball. Yet another Olympia Warriors corner. Can they make another one count? Can't believe in this game they came so close. They were hitting the post earlier. He'll go again. Again, it's a pretty centrally hit one, clipped away by the goal scorer Heggie. Controlled by Declan Brown though. Let Jack Ryan in. Koso, I think, sensing he was offside, just leaving that, and now Paul Stevens handling it, so he'll break that one up.
Relieve the pressure on the Knights. They were desperate not to get bogged down in that the corners that were occurring earlier. Again, Harrison elects to play it short. And Gutierrez Chavez playing the more holding midfield role here in this second half. Ryan does keep it in. Back to Paul Stevens. Brown pushing on to press. And Naden's pressure causes a rush pass there from Bay Kurtz. Samuel James will take the throw in. He hits it right to the chest of Warren Wadawu, who thumps it down the line, giving Nkoso something to chase. Harrison backed into the corner. He'll try and win a goal kick. Maybe give it back to the keeper. Audacious backheel from that position from the centre half. Wadawu wanted Nkoso to stay on side, crosses it in himself. Instead, he goes over for a goal kick. Brave play there from Tyler Harrison. On the back heel, deep in your defensive corner. It's a good pass from Lockie Hart, finding Toghill in a good amount of space. Now Stewart back to Toghill. Seem to want to play with any urgency down the line there, the Knights. As Toghill is still in a good amount of space there on the far side. And they'll switch it up. James, the fullback's bombing on for the Knights. Eventually falls to James. Vandermeer shuts it down. Gutierrez Chavez just can't quite thread it through. The long legs of the mountain gets in the way. Wadawu, left foot dink, offside against Ryan.
Unnecessary, that one. Holding his line, Jack Ryan. No excuse for straying on that occasion. I think the team really pressing the opposition defenders, so just lull from time to time in this game. And teams holding on to it in defence, and Kadisha's misjudged that one. He might pay for it as Joffrey Nkoso looks to get in behind. Just wouldn't sit for the young fella though. Eventually gains control of it. The Knights with plenty of numbers back, so he lofts in a wonderful ball for Ladich. Back to Jack Ryan! It's trickled over the line, and Jack Ryan has handed the Warriors the lead. just enough. Took a big deflection, but it crosses the line, and Olympia, with 20 minutes to play, lead at 2-1 through Jack Ryan.
Yeah, just misjudged there in the defence, and Koso struggled to get it down to start with. Once he did, good attacking intent from Ladich, played onside by Harrison, who dropped really, really deep. You can see him in an acre of space. He had plenty of time, and then he almost got in the way of his keeper.
Yeah, I think he has. I think Lockie Hart there will be asking questions if he's centre half and captain in front of him there. I reckon he's absolutely stitched him up big time. It's probably a save he makes if Harrison's not kind of impeding his ability to do so. As a substitution made here from the Knights. George Hallard, by the looks of it, sneaking on. Catcher Teddy Kaddish has gone off for him, so central defender for central defender by the looks of things.
Understandable from Harrison trying to sort of aim for the far post for that curler, but Lockie Hart, it would have been at chest height going in that direction. We'll never know if he would have saved it, but it did seem like the centre-back impeded him. But it's put the Warriors in front. The Knights now really have to show some intent in getting forward. Naden going in hard on Lehman. Nowicki, good back heel to Naden. Good challenge from the mountain. Nowicki stuck in a Warrior sandwich. He's got 3 of them all over him.
Against him.
And it goes against him for reasons that can certainly confusing Glenorchy Knights bench, as he's got the ball here. I thought it might have been a shirt pull on him initially. He's got push from Mearns. Somehow the foul is against him.
That's one on reputation, I think. I saw a similar one against Ryan earlier in the game, but I think these big centre forwards at times, they do become victims of their own, I suppose, history and style of play. Occasionally you cop a slightly unfair one, as this is long towards his opposite, I guess, role in Jack Ryan at the other end, playing the exact same type of target man type role for their respective teams as Lehman. Koso and Ryan were both offside, so said just knock it back instead. And he does to Stevens. Ladich. Lehman. Ladich will get the free kick. All down there.
We still haven't seen a yellow card in this game after 74 minutes. Particular rarity between these two sides with their long-standing rivalry. As Stevens looks towards the back post. Brian gets up, Hart gets enough on it. Naden to Brown. He'll want to play it out towards Nowicki. Charlie White will pull it back, sensing that Nowicki was not going to get a huge advantage up there. Interesting Hallard being brought on, maybe to combat the height and strength of Jack Ryan. Hallard, another UK-born player out in the field. It's a good challenge from Vandermeer. Heggie, incredulous that decision's gone against him. Not entirely sure what he was expecting.
That was nicely done from Jake Vandermeer. Scoring that number 4 today, which is just a bit off-putting, so used to the continuity. One of the teams that actually don't seem to rotate their numbers too much, the Warriors. Samuel James can't keep this one in. But throw in anyway. And Sherman barking out the instructions for his troopers. They need to chase this game now. Nowicki will be key to their hopes in doing that. Just rolls off of Vandermeer. Lucas Hill repels Brown. He's got Stewart in some space, works it to him. Stewart holds up and waits for Brown to charge into the box. Couldn't pick him out. And now Nick Mearns rakes it back the other way. James headed it behind him. Then that was really ugly, as Hallard got himself in a bit of a mess. Allows Wadawu in. He's got Ryan in the middle. It's Warren Wadawu. Cuts it back, and grasping it is Lachlan Hart. Just couldn't quite pick out his man in the middle there, and sparing the blushes of Hallard and James after a rather sloppy moment down here on the near touchline.
Been a lack of communication there from James and Hallard. It was always going to go over Samuel James's head. As now Stewart picks it up on the far side. He's got Mearns for company as well as Lehman. Got past the first defender. Good challenge from Lehman. Surely a foul in the back. And the young fullback has been given by the referee. Olympia looking likely at this stage go to their bench. Any further reinforcements? Not in a huge hurry to take this one. There's Cole McDonald with his side 2-1 up. Wadawu and Koso seem the likely targets. The wind howls through North Hobart Oval. Good header by Mearns. Puts Harrison on the back foot. Naden. Kurtz. Wadawu gets the ball down. Ryan and Nkoso want it. Goes to Nkoso. It's 3 Knights players for company, but anxious to find Wadawu. Wadawu tried to find Ladich. Could only find the Knights player in Gutierrez Chavez. Header on from Heggie. Kurtz just about keeps it down. Nowicki whacked forward. And the foul has been given by Nowicki on Kurtz. So Olympia just look to take the sting and pace out of this game, here being 2-1 up. Using the wide expanses of North Hobart to their advantage. We'll see the Mountain take his time with this one and then launch it centrally. Hallard can clear that one easy. Backs it back to Lehman. There's Kurtz short if he wants it. Tries to go down the line, but runs out of real estate.
Soghill to Brown. He's been quiet today, Declan Brown. Probably the quietest game I can remember from him this year. He's curtailed his influence pretty nicely. And he's a real game breaker on his day. Kurtz ships it forward to Hallard. Back to Harrison. And he just stands this one up for Heggie to contest against Vandermeer. Barreled into him. Vandermeer won the header and they both go down clutching their heads. So this is going to be brought to a stop here. A head clash between the two by the looks of it. I'd like to see that, and both really moved a whole lot since, so probably feeling it, the pair of them. Real hospital ball if ever there was one. This one, just set it up and go at it, and yeah, right in each other's heads there. It's nasty to see.
Josh Williams will be presenting to the winning team, and immediately after the conclusion we will have the Anzac Day sprint. If I could ask all the runners in the sprint, both female and male, if they could come down to the dugout immediately at the conclusion of this match.
So there you have it, of course. We've got the sprints. I dare say that came over on the PA for what you're hearing at home.
I'd be shocked if it didn't.
Sprint races coming up. The interval between the two games. So plenty of entertainment going on between the two matches. Of course, the Anzac Cup to be presented, possibly to the Olympia Warriors, unless something changes here and the Knights are able to swing it late. Olympia looking to make it 3 from 3 over the Knights in their games this season. It's been a familiar tale, really, hasn't it? Knights had a good period in the first half of the game and have taken the lead, but been able to hold on, and Olympia running out the game the stronger.
Yeah, just not sure if it's a fitness thing or just injuries catching up, maybe some more experience as well. I was hoping James and Ryan were going to go piece formalities there. It seemed a bit of just seeing the ball come near you and you must attack it there from both sides. As Heggie is back on the pitch, as is Vandermeer. Heggie does well to get past Mearns. He's got Brown for up ahead, Naden. He can turn out here. He's got some players in some space. Nowicki's one of them. Tolkiel is pushed on. Koso comes across. Now Chavez. Back to Tolkiel. There's time to size up the cross if he wants to. Wants to play the 1-2 with Naden, who's storming into the box, but crowded out, and Kurtz whacks it clear. Harrison should be able to deal with this one. Does sell his keeper a bit short. And then have a little chip over the head of Ryan to snuff out any danger. Harrison looked up, wanted Nowicki, but was hiding behind the Mountain. Chavez. Out to Brown. James bombing on down the left-hand side. That's where Brown goes. Samuel James against Wadawu. Wants some support and gets it from Chavez. Naden's dropped deep to receive. And now switch it out. Knights putting Olympia on the back foot. They've dropped quite deep here of the Warriors. Harrison with plenty of time in his own half. Stewart. Lovely ball into Heggie. The goal scorer, Heggie, fires it against Stevens. Falls nearly to James, but Wadawu clears. Oh, Harrison and Toghill got the wires crossed in that situation, but Toghill shepherds it out just enough. And as we see South Hobart beginning their warm-ups on the far side.
Getting in early. The South Hobart team preparing for their big match with the Hobart Zebras. It's off the back of their win over Devonport on Monday. They'll be flying out for that one. It's a big 6-quarter. Top 4 teams set to come. This one still might have some late drama yet. George Hallard for the Knights. Everyone just sitting back really and waiting for it. He chips it long. Then James getting behind a Vandermeer. Always favoured the Warriors defender. And it's going to be a goal kick there. Despite Rowan Heggie's arguments. He'll win that one. And Olympia can just beat up some more time. They're trying to professionally see this one out. Thought they did a really good job of that against Knights the other night at Warrior Park. So they had that lead. It really looked like relinquishing it. Professional display. Not an all-time classic.
It's been much the same here, to be honest. I mean, outside of Heggie's moment of magic.
It was that 10-minute period, wasn't it? Where the game just suddenly was going end to end. It was all happening. And it's just kind of going back into this familiar pattern. And certainly Olympia, now they've gotten the lead. They're happy to sit on it and eat up seconds where they can. What's that sneaking in there?
It's Brown's coming off. Be the chef, Ryan Cook, I think.
Yeah, it does look like Ryan Cook. So on he comes for the Warriors, and he might be involved early here. The ball hits his way. Kurtz smashing it to the fat side of the field, and so we'll just let that one roll out down there. Some hustle from the boy/match manager on that side of the pitch. Charging down those ones all day. Fair bit of turf to cover by himself too. As the Knights looking to work the ball forward here, but shut down. Just flipped forward by Wadawu. Ryan pointed by Harrison. Gutierrez Chavez. Now Toghill. To Gutierrez. Now down the line, but really gives Stewart much of a play on that one. Knock it back to McDonald. Steer it away. It just seems to me at the moment, if the Knights are going to get a goal, it's going to be through an Olympia error at the back more than breaking them down. They're really looking like they can unlock them just for the time being. They're on the attack again, all the same. Once again, Rappel. Jack Ryan gets there first, lays it off. The counter's on here. Cook sets it out in front of Ryan. A foot race between he and Harrison, who had the head start. He was always favoured. Worked it out to James. Gutierrez Chavez. Gliding through, gets around Vandermeer. Slow pass out there to Toghill. Toghill back to Hallard. Getting ready for the long ball, I think. Everyone's, the Warriors dropping back quite deep. Naden. Out wide and just waiting for it and let in Koso. Chance for the cross all the same. Floats over Nowicki's head. Samuel James attacking it away by Vandermeer. Ladic. Moved forward by Brown, looking for Stewart. Play allowed to continue. Centres it for Nowicki. Matthew Nowicki wouldn't sit for him. Lucas Hill smashing that one away before he could tee it up for himself. And now lobbed out for Wadawu. If this stays in, they've got a 2v3 developing for the Warriors. Jack Ryan in the middle, and the cavalry's coming here for Olympia. Chipped it over the top for Cook. Not dealt with all that well. Just enough on it. Back to his keeper. And they survive.
Just hanging on by the skin of their teeth are the Knights. Just see if they had any fresh legs to bring off the bench. And we've got Marnie and Warriner outfield players to come. Just feel like they need a bit more speed, a bit more impetus in the final third. As Harrison will take the ball forward, but just that not a huge amount of movement going on as he goes the curling ball towards Brown. Falls to Nowicki. I think he's given a high boot against Brown, which certainly not the highest boot we've seen here this afternoon. But
Tipped a little, slightly harsh call, I think. It looks like Jonathan Malungala is set to come on here for the Warriors, so they'll introduce some fresh legs to see it out. As I'm not sure what Matt Nowicki's done, but he's talked himself into the book his way. So he's had a little bit too much to say about that high boot decision. And a slice of cheese from Matt Nowicki. So standard procedure observed, and now Jack Ryan's going to be replaced by Malungala.
I mean, Matt Nowicki getting the first slice of cheese of the game is something you'd almost expect.
Even when he's not starting.
Even when he's not starting, absolutely. It's either going to come on the bench or once he's brought on. As that one's whacked down the line. Cook coming in, getting in front of Harrison. Turning away is the captain. Does well to get that out to Stewart. Jake Stewart in a foot race against Nkoso, tracking back, trying to use his body. Stewart to Brown, plays the 1-2. Sliding in is Lehman, who's done really well in that situation, but turned over to Naden, who's got the deflection off the Warriors player, much to the chagrin of everyone over there, and now they've changed their mind. And it did look like Naden had just thumped that out of play. We'll have a look at the replay. Naden sliding in. It's a comfortable pass to the sideline there from Naden. We go back to live play, and Nowicki will chase down McDonald. Off balance as he kicks it, but finds Lehman. Good ball to Nkoso. Big gaps appearing in the centre of the park here as Malungala gets in front of Harrison. And turned over with Dawu coming in the back of Naden. No foul given. Much to I don't think the Knights fans particularly agree with that decision. There's Hart eager to get this one started. Hallard directing traffic from the back. He's going to look to play it long. Over the head of Stewart, comfortable for Stevens. Kurtz tries to get around Nowicki. Thought Nowicki got the ball and did so. Stewart got a willing runner in Brown, but Hill comes across to clear.
30 seconds left in regulation. Toghill against Nkoso. Throw goes the way of the Knights. 3 added minutes signalled on the near touchline for the Knights. What can they do with them? It's Tyler Harrison carrying forward here. Again, it's a long, direct ball. Stewart, the target, flicked it down. Might fall for Heggie. He'll want to get onto the left here. Heggie, and Lucas Hill was well aware of that. Exactly what he wanted to do against a tiring opponent. That one's knocked well away. Dangerous part of the pitch, but the Knights will reload through Hallard. Naden still working hard, dropping deep. Another few players left with something to give, I think, there for the Knights. There's some tired bodies out there. Nkoso up against Toghill. He's just heading straight for the corner flag, I think, although then cuts inside, lets Toghill in. Tell you what, no mate yelling ref in the crowd's yelled about 8 times in the last minute, and I'm not entirely sure what any of them have been for, but geez, he's enthusiastic, whoever that gentleman in the crowd below us is. There's Nick Naden. Sends this one out wide for Brown. He'll look up and he sees a 4-on-4 here, Brown. He fancies it, he runs into the box, and I was just expecting the shotgun run to come from Stewart. Wasn't on the same page as him. All the makings of a promising move. And Rowan Heggie perhaps just suggesting he needed to come to this side, but unfortunately it breaks down. It's not on the same wavelength there. 2 minutes left to play here.
Jakey Stewart's looked a little bit tired the last 5 to 10 minutes. Just one of the Knights players running out of steam, just the larger pitch. They've really put in a mountain of work, have the Knights, but it looks like the Warriors, unless something happens dramatically, they will hold on for the victory. There's good interception there from Brown, getting in front of Wadawu. Still got energy to burn as Brown. Now Heggie Gets the ball on this side, knocks it back to James. There's 3 at the back post. They want to try to play it quickly, and Hallard senses that. Naden beaten by Kurtz, and now can the Warriors get a sealer? Urging on is their technical area. Good ball in, Hallard sliding across. And Koso couldn't get there. Maybe should have gone to the corner. Now what can the Knights do? Brown to Stewart. Stewart lays it back to Brown. Only 2 up as that one goes to Heggie. Tries to head it on towards Nowicki. Hill can clear comfortably.
George Hallard reload. That's one last time here for the Knights. It's a poor ball out of play on the near touchline. He can't quite connect. And they mightn't get too many chances here. The Glenorchy Knights. They're very, very close to the final whistle. 30 seconds remaining. Vandermeer in absolutely no rush to take this one. He launches it long, looking for Cook. Flicked on by Heggie. It's Mulungala. Goes back inside for Nkoso. Joffrey Nkoso. Will he land the killer blow here? It's Nkoso! He does. The king of the handles ices this one at North Hobart. It'll be 3 points for the Warriors on Anzac Day. Joffrey Nkoso driving the final nail in, and it's going to be a 3-1 win for the Olympia Warriors.
A well-deserved winner right as the game was coming to an end. Composed ball from Mulungala, had Tolkiel one-on-one, has the pace to burn, gets around him, left foot strike. Nkoso, one of the best players on the park here this afternoon, as the king of the handles, and has iced this game for the Warriors. They will prove Joffrey Nkoso. We'll get close to Devonport. We've obviously got a game coming up on the weekend, but keeping pressure on their title rivals are the Warriors.
Yep, they'll be back into top spot after this result. We seem to have added a goal there for the Knights on the scoreboard. We'll just take care of that one. 3-1 the score, we can confirm. If you're just tuning in late here, you'll see the final kick of the game as the Olympia Warriors claim a big 3 points. They fought back from a goal down. It mirrored their round 2 clash in the NPL Tasmania when they went a goal down and won 3-1. Had to work a little bit harder for it today. It was a tight battle, but Olympia probably deserved winners off the back of the second half. They're under pressure for big periods in the first half, but they couldn't quite build enough of a lead. They did hit the lead through Rowan Heggie's spectacular bicycle, and from that moment on, Olympia seemed to snap into life ball.
Yeah, they really needed something to kick them in the gear, much the same as that first half and first goal we saw in the round 2 fixture, but again, another composed closing out of the game once they got 2 goals in front. As the PA system drowns out my wonderful analysis as always. As the Warriors go back on top. Eventually got there in terms of the goals. Knights just seem to run out of legs that last 15 minutes. And it's been their downfall so far. I understand they got a fair few injuries. They did fight to the end. Iggy's spectacular goal, a bright moment for them. The Warriors, despite not seeing much of the ball from that sort of 20-minute mark to 45-minute mark, probably on the balance of the second half, deserved winners here at North Hobart Oval.
Festivities set to continue here now. We've got the men's and women's Anzac Day sprints to come.
I hope we get to commentate this.
Might be going to be interesting switching up in a 10-second call, Paul, but if you want to jump in by all means, I'll just get the contenders sent through to them.
Time to get my auctioneering voice on, I think, if we're going to have a 10-second.
That's probably setting a slightly higher bar than maybe achieved by our sprinters, but around that ballpark, I think probably be expecting.
Look, I'm not expecting the state record to tumble here this afternoon, but I'm sure we'll seem competitive as we look at the small screen. Lucas Hill being presented with the cup by the looks of it. There's the Warriors winning the RSL Anzac Day Cup. for the customary team photo. Jordan Scott down there celebrating with the boys. Not quite going full John Terry with the kit, but good to see him down there, the suspended midfielder.
Made his way down there quickly.
He practically jumped out of this media box once they scored that goal.
I was wondering the exuberant background noise up the back of the media box. It was Jordan Scott just observing things up here. Fair to say, happy at the end of that game was Warriors man. As we prepare for game number 2, as we look at Nkoso just icing that one. He probably had one thought, corner flag, then took one look at Soggy, went, I reckon I've got you covered for base here, T-Pain, and just skipped into the box, blasted it home, and secured the win for Olympia. And just keep grinding out these results, which they say is the mark of a title-winning team, and they look, so far from what I've seen this year, the best equipped to threaten the Devonport Strikers in a title race, but certainly all very tight, and these next 2 teams coming out to play, I think we'll have plenty to say on that matter too. Should be a cracking game. Just waiting for the sprint race here.
I'm probably hoping for a draw on the Zebras in South Hobart just to keep the title race a bit tighter from that game before. As we see South Hobart making full use of their warm-up time on the pitch. Just trying to see if we've got any of the sprinters out currently. We've got Tony Pertz setting up the finishing line.
Yep, running to the crowd. Yeah, it's
We need a big one of those giant banners you get at the end of a gift race, I think, is what we need.
I've always thought they'd just look so dangerous.
Just going at 25k an hour and whack into a small metal structure.
I mean, it just seems really dodgy to me.
It was probably a great idea, 130 years ago, but don't know how it quite passes OH&S.
So, 4 contenders in the women's race. Looks like we've got Maddie Chambers, Kayla Mason, Sakala Mulu, and on team referee, Claire Green.
Good to see the referees involved.
Oh, chomping at the bit was Tony. I wouldn't. He's nominated Brenton Muir for the men's race. If this guy's a sprint champion, wouldn't surprise me. He would be desperate to claim this one. Pet, don't you worry about that. Samson Juju of South Hobart, Chase Clark of Hobart Zebras, Tyson Hartill of the Glenorchy Knights, Justin Hudson from your boys Metro, Paul, getting a runner in there. And Jonathan Malungala looks like he's just going to step off the pitch and sneak into this as a late entry for a scratching of Keen Pavlidis. There must be some speed demon the Warriors were going to spring on this one, but instead young Malungala looks like he's going to get the call up. But
at least he's warmed up, Malungala. I mean, he's got a slight advantage over everyone else in that aspect.
Interesting. Chambers, the Warriors nominee.
Yes.
Davies
Bonnie
is the
Davies.
one that springs to mind. Matty Chambers is exceptionally quick, but I do wonder whether they had an intra-club sprint themselves to figure this one out. Maybe Bonnie's just not available.
I was going to say,
probably highly likely on a
surely got
public
to
holiday.
come down to unavailability, because I don't know anyone else that I've seen in the women's game than Bonnie Davies. As we can see,
I wonder if Kayla Mason, just out of pure habit, is just going to slide to the finish line and haul down her competitors.
well, that's a good reason we don't have the gate, is she'd probably try that and then end up in the gate. So it's probably a good thing there, as we now see it marked out. We're now getting a good idea of how long the pitch is here at North Hobart as well, as it doesn't quite cover the whole length. Full 110 metres at the
110 it would look like.
full length given here. As well, whilst in front of us in this media box we have predominantly Zebras people, we've all of a sudden had a huge congregation of Metro people. They are clearly up for this sprint more than just about any other club, sending a cheer squad for a sprinter. And I was down at Kelvedon Park on the blog and on Saturday, and got some pace about him.
Justin Hudson?
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of him previously. I think he used to play for Knights or Dosa, someone was telling me the other day, and got quite some wheels on him. I do think we'll see what the other sides have brought to this contest. As we see, it seems like Mason and Claire Green for the referees are out at the starting gates already.
So, Chambers, Mason, Mulu, Green. Although, not seeing Sukala Mulu, the Glenorchy Knights runner. I'd be shocked if she doesn't appear. Some mention of the Knights. So,
Do we have starting gun?
I doubt it.
Oh, we have got the tape, though, at the finish, so... No,
You can probably just tap the PA system. It
Yes.
sounds a bit like it's starting, otherwise it keeps jolting.
Certainly jolted me out of my seat about 5 times so far.
We're about to run the sprint. We'll run the ladies' sprint first.
Tell you what,
Oscar Thomas might get impaled here if he stays there.
Oscar's going to need to move, and it looks like no Sakala Mulu, so it's a podium finish guaranteed. Don't mind those odds if you're lining up for a race. So we've got Chambers, Mason, and Green. Is that Chambers?
I was going to say it's the shortest.
Well, yeah.
It must be. Oh no, we have got a Knights competitor as well.
Yeah, Scalamulu absolutely bangs goals in for fun, and I suspect her pace plays a role in that. So Mulu, Green, Mason, and Chambers, the 4 runners.
Iski Van Dorn at the 60-metre mark, just providing some distraction as well.
Just about ready here. So Zebras, Warriors, Knights, and referees. Clear Green. Just, we'll have the long strides, I think, towering over the competition here. And they're off. So, we're ready here.
No one opting for the sprinters' starting position. Everyone keeping pretty upright.
Very upright. No one crashed down, so just keeping us in suspense here. The girls have been ready for a little while. Pierre coming down. Match manager / race manager. Looks like he's going to start us off, and they're off and racing here. And it's Chambers bursting out to an early lead here for the Warriors. Maddie Chambers surging ahead of the field. Kayla Mason trying her best to haul her in, but this race is over. Maddie Chambers, the pocket rocket, storms home for the Warriors, and they claim a second victory of the day.
From start to finish, there Maddie Chambers led the entire way. We thought the strides of Green might come into it. Mason kept good pace there, but Chambers had it the whole way. And it was Mulu rounding out the 4.
So Hudson, is the wild card here. He's the real wild card. Well, I know it's very quick. Muir, I think, is going to be lightning. I reckon Perth's got been carrying something here. And you've got Chase Clark from Zebras. And
Hartill from the Knights? No, is there a Knights competitor?
Hartill from the Knights, yes. So it's Tyson Hartill, the man from the Glenorchy Knights. No Samson Juju. Oh, yes, he snuck in there at the... Yeah, he snuck in there as well. Okay, so interesting starting positions. All of them really cramping up to this near corner. Don't know about the lanes they've got here.
Samson Juju from South Hobart. Chase Clark, Hobart Zebras.
He's got some pace, Clark. I've seen him before too.
Hartill, Glenorchy Knights.
So a bit of an unknown here. We know Malungaloo, we've seen his wheels.
I was just hypothesising before whether the Zebras would try and bend the rules a bit and call in an ex-player and former youth player Jared Gilroy, who's a former 200 and 400 metre state champion. I thought that would have been a nice tactic there from the Zebras.
Not over the 100 though, mate. Clearly a medium specialist. So we're ready to go in the men's sprint here. Juju, Clark, Hartill, Hudson, Muir, and we're off, and it's a pretty tight start here, but coming out through, it looks like Hartill for the Knights. Malungala bearing down on him, and Clark just in behind. It's Hartill holding sway for the Knights. Did Clark get him? It's tight at the finish. We might need to go to the photo. Chase Clark with a stunning late burst.
Malungala's done his hammy in the last minute as well, right there. They were all 3 abreast at the 95-minute mark. Coming through is Clark from absolutely nowhere.
He's done the hammy. It's cost him a victory. He's done the string 2 metres from the finish line, Paul.
Drama. There's chaos here in the sprint. We probably do need the photo finish one more time as well.
Tell you what, we might not have another one after that, as he's done the string. Clark got it.
Oh, that is tight.
It's Clark and Hartill. I think he's just pulled up, but he might have just done enough. Clark asking the question.
I mean, is there anyone there to adjudicate?
So,
There's a presentation.